Yeah, yeah. Someone was telling something. Okay, okay. Hope you are all doing good, right? Okay. So welcome you all for joining this API testing demo session, workshop session, right? Yeah. Okay. When it comes to the API testing, okay, hope you are all belongs to the testing background, right? So when it comes to the API testing, first thing, what is striking in your mind? Like, what is API? Where we are using in APIs? Where we are using APIs in real time? And what is API? What do you guys, what do you guys, think of it? If it is
It's
long, also no problem. Okay,
yeah,
let's session be interactive. Hmm. Yeah,
it's like
Lakshmi.
it's like an interface for the web applications or
Oh.
between two servers to communicate.
Okay.
And what are the prerequisites to take this course? What we should
Uh,
know?
a prerequisite, nothing. See, there's an okay. I will just explain that. Okay. So two, we are following a two approach. One is Postman approach, and one is a automation approach. So if it is a Postman, no prerequisite is required. I will only be, covering all the things which is required for the testing the REST services with the Postman. If it is a for the automation, yes, little bit knowledge on the Java. Okay, Java code knowledge you require. Okay. I will just explain all those things. I will explain. Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
first we will discuss, like, it is an interface between the application. Okay. Okay. So first we will discuss about the what is API. Has name suggesting here. Okay. So has name suggesting, API is nothing but application programming interface. Application programming interface. Okay. So why it's required? Why is this interface is required? Can't we communicate directly? Why this interface is required? Hmm. What's your answer? So the thing is, if it's wrong, also not a issue. Okay. If it is wrong, also not a issue. Just let session to be interactive. Okay. Effective,
Maybe it's not
efficient.
user friendly.
Okay. User friendly. Okay. This is the fast. Okay. Efficient handling and fast. Okay. Others. What about
Okay.
others' opinion?
Platform independent and language independent.
Language independent. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Okay. So what happens is, see, if you can see, nowadays, whatever the application, for example, you are using Ola to book your, cabs. Okay. You are using Amazon application. You are using a Flipkart application. So on. Whatever the application you take, in each and every application we are using a APIs, we are calling API. Okay. So why it is required? And knowing about the API and having a knowledge on the API and being a test engineer, so I know having a knowledge on how we can handle the APIs is very much important. Okay. If you can open the Naukri or any of the job site nowadays, the API testing and as well as API development is booming. Okay. Each and every organization expect the candidate to have a knowledge on a API testing. Okay, because this is that much of importance. Okay. So now, why it is required? Okay, you are telling that API is nothing but application programming interface. Fine. But why this interface is required? You have to know about that before jumping into testing and all. That is next part. Okay. But you have to know before that what is the purpose of interfacing between two applications. Okay. Okay. For example, I'm speaking in English now. Okay. I'm speaking in English. Okay. So you are able to understand it. If I speak my, my regional language. Okay. If I speak my, own language, okay, which is comfortable for me to speak. If I speak in that, do you able to understand? If I speak in Kannada, how you able to understand? No, most of the people are from, maybe from Hyderabad, or from, North Indians, all are there here, right? So maybe you guys are not able to understand if I speak in my own state language, right? So in that case, what we have to do? So what we are choosing here? So like, my English is like a common language here, okay? So I can also able to understand whatever you guys are responding, and you guys also able to understand what I am telling you. If I speak in my own language, if you guys respond in your own language, obviously I am not able to understand what you guys are responding, and you guys are not able to understand what I am just describing you, right? So similarly, consider this is an application. This is one application. Let's say this is an Amazon. Just assume, okay? And this Amazon built in the Java, okay? And consider this is an phone pay. Just assume, okay? There are different applications. Phone pay. Okay, this is maybe built in the Python. So customer is coming here and he has done all the shopping. Okay, he has selected all the product which he or she wants to buy, and finally they're clicking on the buy now button here. In this application, they're clicking on the buy now button. Maybe here we have a buy now button. So soon after clicking here buy now button, soon after clicking a buy now button, so what's happening? In from this buy now button, the phone pay service has to, okay. See, don't you think this Amazon is one application, and this phone pay is also separate application? So you just start thinking in this way. So whenever you open, you just open the Flipkart, you select one product and click on the buy now. Okay, when you click on the buy now, you will be redirecting with a multiple option. Okay, so like this, here, pay with phone pay. Here you will get a multiple options like pay with phone pay with Paytm, and pay with credit or debit. Okay, pay with credit card. So multiple options you will get here, right? So you will get a multiple option. So phone pay, Paytm, Google Pay, so on. Okay, so don't you think that is also separate application? Okay, so don't you think that is also separate application? For example, if you can see here, see, this is my Flipkart. Okay, I will select a product here. Okay, I will select one product, electronic product. Okay, so after selecting the electronic product, I will click on buy now option. I will click on the buy now option, and after clicking on the buy now option, it will give me a list of option. Okay, so in that list of option, the phone pay, pay with phone pay with Paytm, and so on. So if you can see here, my phone pay is also an application. Okay, my Paytm is also an application. See, they also have a different web application here. See here, phone pay is also an application, and Paytm is also an application. Okay, so how my whenever click on the buy now, and when we select the pay with phone pay there, how it will interact with this application? This is also a separate application. Okay, so immediately here what happens, when we select any one of the applications, say suppose we have selected phone pay, immediately whatever we are requesting here, so maybe we are requesting some amount. So after selecting phone pay, the request has to go to this phone pay application, and it has to process there, and it has to respond back to this request to the Amazon. So how it is happening? Because this is in Java, this is in Python. Whatever Amazon is requesting, maybe Python is not able to understand, because it has built in the Python. Okay, so whatever this phone pay is responding, maybe Amazon is not able to understand because the Amazon has built in the Java. Okay, the both are different language, they're not able to understand each other. So now there's a big question, how can we achieve this task, how we can make it? Because Amazon not only phone pay, it has to communicate with other applications also, like Paytm. Some customer is using a Paytm, maybe Paytm has built in the some other language like a C sharp language. Okay, one more like pay with a bank account, so that maybe that bank account has built in the that bank application has built in the some other language. So like each and every application has built in a different language. If you can take this is a client and this is a server, the both are in different language they are using. Okay, so how can we achieve this task become a big question now. Okay, so to achieve this task, okay, whatever may be the language the two application has built in, to achieve this communication, to have a seamless communication between two application or between client and server. Okay, so we have come up with a concept called API. Okay, so what they have done, so they are integrating a API in between these two application. Okay, so they are integrating the API in between these two application. So here what happens, if you think here what happens here, when you click on the buy now, it is giving you the multiple options, fine. When you select the phone pay, the API call will happen from Amazon to phone pay. Okay, the Amazon will send a request through the API to the phone pay, like how much amount it has to deduct from the phone pay in order to successfully place the order. Okay, and after processing the requested amount, the phone pay has to respond back to this request saying yes, amount requested amount has proceeded, transaction has completed successfully. So you observed, right? So whenever we click on that, whenever we place a order, so sometime it will take, right, when we click on the buy now, when we select some phone pay application, it will give you the message saying processing your transaction, please don't click back. You will get it, right? So what, by the time what will be happening inside the application, it was communicating with the particular application. Okay, particular payment gateway application, it was communicating it was processing the data there. Okay, after processing the data, and once after the phone pay confirms to the Amazon, then we will get a separate window saying yes, your order has been placed. Okay, so here we are calling a API from Amazon to phone pay in order to purchase an order. This is one sample example. Like this, we are calling APIs in all the application. Okay, so like okay, so here I have a question, like here, okay, here we are calling a API, fine. What language API as communicating? In what language API is communicating so that both application is understanding? For example, in general example, if I want to take, see, for example, if I speak in my own language, you guys will not understand. If you guys are responding in your own language, I am not, I will not understand, right? So we have taken it, we have taken, we considered English as a common language, and we are, I'm speaking in that, and you guys are responding in that. Okay, like that, similarly, we have to use some common language here so that every application should be able to understand that communication. In such a way, we have to choose the language. Okay, so okay, here as per the explanation, okay, we are calling a API, but what this API content so that every application is able to understand this information. Whatever this application is requesting, all the application is able to understand. Whatever this application is responding, all the application is able to understand. So what language it contain, in what language we are requesting, in what language we are getting the response back, that is nothing but JSON. Okay, so we are requesting, we are We are requesting a data in the form of a JSON. We are getting back the response in the form of a JSON. So before learning into the API testing, knowing about the JSON is important. Okay, knowing about the JSON language is important before learning a API. Okay, so this is very much important here. Okay, because we are communicating and we are getting the response in this only now. Okay, so in the JSON only we are getting we are working with the API. So we have to learn how to define the data in the JSON. What are the data types it contains? How can we add the data inside the JSON? And what are the data type applicable for the JSON data? Which format we need to handle the data? How to handle the complex data? How to handle the nested data? And how to access the data in the JSON? Okay, these are the concept of the JSON. I will be teaching that in the sessions. Okay, this JSON part I will be teaching. So we have to learn completely about the JSON. Okay, after learning completely about the JSON, then we have to understand, like what are the HTTP methods available in order to handle the multiple actions inside the application. Okay, so as you all know, okay, HTTP methods, we have list of HTTP methods if you go to the official website, but the important one I'm discussing today. Okay, we have a list of HTTP methods. Okay, in that I'm just taking a important methods which is required for the business operation. Post method, get method, put her, delete method. Okay, see, these method we call it as an HTTP methods, nothing but your business operation methods, nothing but your CRUD methods. Okay, CRUD operation. See, if you take any of the application, okay, so you come across this scenarios only. Either you will create a data, either you will update the data, either you will retrieve the data, and if you don't want to continue the service, you will just delete your data. Okay, this is the basic business operation in any of the application. Okay, okay, we'll jump into this part now. Before that, I hope this is understood. Now give me one example of real time where we are using a API. You can make use of a chat. Make use of a chat. Give me an example of a real time where we are using a API. Casually, just think general way where we are using. From now onwards, you have to start thinking in that way. Whenever you're using an application, you have to think where we are using API here, how it's happening, how we are calling. Hmm. Credit score. Okay, bank. Make my trip. Okay. Payment gateway. Okay. 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 Mm, a flight booking. Okay. Fine. Okay. See, for example, you are using a Hola, log with a Google interface in any apps. Logging in with the Google interface. Yes, yes, yeah. Business WhatsApp API. Yes, yes, yeah. Okay. Yes, that's good. See, for example, guys, you are just booking a cab. Okay. In booking, see, in a single application multiple APIs will be called. Okay, there's no limit in calling of API. Okay, for example, in consider the Ola application, there you are calling the Ola people, means Ola company, Ola application is calling a payment API from this phone pay or Google Pay, Paytm, so on. Okay, they're calling a gateway APIs in order to allow the customer to do the payment as well as they're also calling a Google APIs. Okay, so when you click on your destination address, when you click on your current address, okay, so it will be redirect you to the Google map, right? Then how you will get the address in the Ola or in any other cab service, how you will get the address? You will, whenever you will start entering that, it will be providing you the address, right? From where it is capturing, because they are calling a Google API. Okay, Google Map API they are calling there. So that Google Map API is responsible to provide you the address inside that application. Okay, so and one more thing, nowadays you have seen, right? Maybe for example, let's take a for if you have a Facebook account, maybe you're trying to logging in into the Instagram. There, they will give you the option like you enter the username and password and so on information and get it registered and login, or directly log in with the phone pay, sorry, directly log in with the Facebook, log in with the Google. Like that they will give options as well. Okay, which means that they're consuming the Facebook API. If you have an account in the Facebook, obviously you are an authenticated user. Okay, so Instagram people don't want to spend time in authenticating. Already if you're customer of the Facebook or already a customer of the Google, let's call the login API of a Facebook. Let's call the Google API of Facebook and let allow this user to directly log in into that. So that customer user will also feel happy. Oh my god, in the single tab I am able to log in into the Instagram. That is quite good, right? It is not asking much information. Okay. So only if we are not having that two application, then we have to enter our own information and then we have to log in. Okay, so they how it is happening, it's happening how means because they're calling a Facebook API directly, they're calling a Google API there inside directly. Okay, so whenever you start or using a application, start thinking that what's happening, how it is available this option here. Okay, what they're doing it here. Okay, they're calling the Facebook API directly. For example, if you want to try to log in into the Twitter, they will give you option like provide the username and password and number, mail ID and sign up, as well as or log in directly from the Google, log in from the some Yahoo. Like that they just give an option, which means that if you already have a Google account, Gmail account, if you already have a Yahoo account, you are authenticated user only, just consume that API and just log in into the Twitter. Okay, so like that it works. Okay, that's why the API using everywhere, and knowing about the API and API testing is very much important. Okay, so now, okay, HTTP methods we were discussing, right? So HTTP, see, there is difference between the HTTP and HTTPS. That is different, like concept. Okay, yes, HTTPS is only used because it's providing a because security matters, right? So HTTP means whatever the information we are passing, that will be we are able to see in the browser. But HTTP will maintain the security over the data that we are passing along with the request. All those things will be covered in the actual sessions. Okay, protocol concept is there, in that we'll be covering. So just I'm trying to give a overview for today. Okay, so here post is for creating the data, and get is for um, retrieving the data which we have created already. Put is for updating the data, and delete is for deleting the data. So now the question is, we have already have a put here. Why there's two methods for the updation? All the all the services, I mean to say all the action is having a single method here. For creation post, for the get, for the retrieval get, for the delete is a delete single method. But why for the updation there's a two method? Okay, we'll discuss this part later. Okay, now consider this is one application. Okay, consider this is one application. Okay, in this application, maybe the project which you're working, right? So in this application you're working, so you have launched your application, and in this application we have features like a collections, environment, history. home, workspace, API networks, and so on. This is all the options we have. Maybe I want to create a workspace. Okay, I want to create a workspace here. So if I want to go with a manual approach, I have to go here. I have an option like create workspace. I have to click on the create workspace here, and I have to provide next, and I have to provide the name, and I have to start working on that. Okay, but if I want to achieve it through the service, okay, I don't want to go with a manual approach. I have to maintain the service. Okay, with the API, I have to create, I have to update, I have to delete, and so on. So how do I do that is the question. Okay, so before working with any of the real-time application, they have to provide the API documentation. Okay, so developers will be usually providing the API documentation, like what method we are using, what test data we are using, how can we achieve that, how to achieve the create workspace through the service, how we can pass the data, what are the data is important, and is that particular workspace API is requesting us the authentication information or not. All the information will be provided in the document. We have to go through the document, and accordingly we need to perform the task. Okay. That is one thing. Okay, so we'll refer the document, and we will try to create a workspace through the API. Before that, now here, this I already told you guys, this is for creation of data. This is create data. Retrieval of data. Delete of data. Okay. So now, why there is two methods for the updation? Anybody having any idea why there is two methods? Make use of a chat to answer. Why there is two methods? Put for partial update. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. What about others? Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, guys. So here what happens is, see, technically speaking, means in general. Okay. So put is for complete updation. Okay. So put is for complete updation. Okay. And patch is for partial updation. Usually we will think so. Okay. And patch is for partial updation. Okay. So put is for complete updation, and patch is for partial updation. Okay. So if I want to update entire data, okay, I need to go with the put. If I want to update partial data, I need to go with the patch. This is general definition. But actually in real time, this is not how it works. Okay. It depends upon the developer. If your developer has used put method for complete updation, yes, by looking into the document, yes, we can also use put for complete updation testing. If they specified, if they have used patch for the partial updation, Means for example, if there is a 4 data, if 4 data is also we are updating, means we have to go with a put. In that 4, if we are updating 2 information, means we have to go with a patch. Okay, so patch is for partial updation. If we have used patch method for the partial updation, yes, we can use that. Okay, but what happens in real time, even if it is a complete updation, even if it is a partial updation, he will not differentiate between the methods. He will just keep the put method maybe, or he just keep the patch method. We will get to know in the documentation how he has used. Okay, so in interview they will ask you, have you ever used patch method? Okay, if you are working in, in your organization, if you have an idea of it, you just explain however they are using. But if you're not having an idea, like, if you're not working in real time, you just, completing the course and you are just attending the interview, you better to tell, like, I never used. Or if you want to talk about the patch method, you can explain that. Okay, so because it depends upon the developer. If your developer is differentiating between the method for the updation, oh yes, we will be using, you can say that. But some developers, what they will do, even if it is a partial updation, even if it is a complete updation, the finally we are updating the information only, existing information. Why to differentiate separately? Let's keep one method for any of the action. So they just use the put method for the complete updation as well as a partial updation. Okay, so that depends upon the developer how they are developing a API, means backend logic, how they are developing. Okay, in order to process that. So your answer should be, if you want to tell, like, you are worked and you are explaining the answer, we have never used, because we have used put method only for complete updation and also for the partial updation, so we never use the patch method. You can say that. Or you can, if you are, telling them that I completed the course and I'm, just giving the interview, you explain like it depends upon the developer. And we will look into the, being a test engineer, we will look into the document of the API, and we will, we'll just look into the document, and we will just observe what method they are using for the updation. If they are differentiating between the action like complete updation and partial updation, and the methods also they are changing, we will also be have to use the same methods. Or if they are not differentiating, if they are using a single method, we'll also be go with a single method for the testing. Even though if they are differentiated in the put method, if we try to work with the patch method, it will not work. Okay, because backend logic will not work. Okay, so this is how it goes. Okay, I was talking about the documentation, right? So if you can go see, this is in a Postman application, this is also a real-time application, right? So in that application we have a different functionalities. So I was telling, like, Workspace is also in functionality. If I want to create a workspace through the service, I have to refer the document. In your organization also, you're working in one application. If you want to work with that application, you have to refer the document. Okay, what are the services they are using, and what is the endpoint, what are the test data we need to provide, all those things you need to understand by referring the document. Okay, so this Postman people, this Postman is also an application, right? So they are also providing us the document, complete API document, to handle the all the future available inside the Postman through the service. Okay, if you go here to the settings, if you go to the learning center, and if you go here down to the developer resource, using the Postman API. Okay, getting started, Postman API documentation. Under that, getting started, click on the Postman API documentation. Okay, so here it's complete, information about the document like Postman API. Okay, so this is like, how you can, means what are the prerequisites required in order to send the, in order to execute the Postman API. You require the API key. The API has a rate and usage limit. You need to understand about this, and you need to understand how we can create a API key in order to send the request to the particular API endpoints. Okay, and you know, JSON data, in understanding about the JSON data. So, and understanding about the status code. Okay, all those things is important. We'll be learning in depth in actual sessions. Okay, but now if you can see here, okay, see if you can see here, what are all the functionalities you were, saying in the Postman tool. All the APIs folder is available here. So you have a collection, you have an environment, you have a import, you have a mock, monitor, workspace, tag, users, okay, so on. See, if you can see the application here, see you have all this. See workspace, API, um, see collections, environment, history, import, so on. All these functionalities you have, right? So now go here. If you can see here, we also have a workspace. Okay, workspace folder. Okay, see if you expand this folder, see we have all the CRUD operation on the particular functionality. Okay, see this is a one functionality, right? Workspace. So I already told you guys, we will be working with the CRUD operation, means business operation. That is the main operation usually we do in any of the application. So this workspace functionality, how to create a workspace, how to get the information of the workspace, how to update the workspace, how to delete the workspace. All these things are important. So if you see here, if you look at the document, see here under the workspace, we have all the CRUD operation API. If you open this create a workspace, see the API with the detailed information is available in order to handle that service. Okay, so this is my API. This API contains the protocol, domain name, and endpoint. Endpoint is nothing but this workspaces is the endpoint. Okay, and this is the data that we need to pass to this service. Okay, see they are telling create a new workspace, include the following properties in the request body. Okay, so what are the following properties? Name, type. Okay, and type can be personal, private, public, team, partner, and description. This is an optional information. Okay, and if you can come down, see you have to make use of authorization. That is the API key they are using, and sample body they are providing it here. Okay, see this is how you need to send the request. See curl information also they are providing. This is how you need to send the request. Okay, this is how you need to get the response. Sample response also they are providing. Okay, so this much we have for the create API. If you can go, if you click on the get all workspace, see this is the API, and this is the this is the API, and here API key you need to specify, and query parameter information you need to specify, and this is how the request has to go, this is how response has to see. Okay, so don't get confused here. What is query parameter? Okay, all those things you don't get confused. This all will be I will be explaining. Okay, what is query param, what is path param, this is all API terminology. This is the different way of handling the data for the request for the API. Okay, I will explain this all those things, don't worry about this. Okay, just understand the document now. Okay, so this is and if you want to update it, see if you can see here they're not using a patch method, they're just using a put method. Okay, so that's what. Okay, that is depends upon the developers. See, this Postman developer is not using the patch method here, just a put method they are using. Okay, so this is about the put method, how to handle that. Okay, so all these are uh, like similarly we have a request body, and this is how the request has to go, this is how the request response has to see. Okay, so what we will do, I just explained about the document for this session. In next session, I mean to say in the next week, we'll start executing the APIs. Okay. Any doubt till now whatever we have discussed? Understanding little bit at least, right? Okay. And the REST API, we can handle it in a two ways, guys. Okay, one is using a Postman tool. Not only Postman tool, some other tools also available in the market in order to handle perform the API testing. But most of the people, okay, using the Postman only. Okay, I do have experience in using Postman only. So like most of the people refer performing a testing on the Postman tool. So the Postman tool only usually we will be using in the course as well. Okay, so we can perform the API testing using a Postman tool as well as using a REST issue. Okay, there's a two approach. This is kind of we can say like manual approach using a Postman. REST assured means it's an automation approach. Okay, there we required little bit of coding knowledge of a Java in order to write the script. Okay. Hmm. Any doubt till now whatever we discussed? Understood? Okay, now tell me, this is my make my trip. Oh, the way it got changed. Huh? This is my make my trip. Okay, so here I'm changing like this. I'm searching. It's fetching the data and it has provided me this information. Indigo, Alliance, Air, and Indigo, AirAsia, Indigo, Sohan, Indigo, Star Air. Yeah. Okay, what's happening here in this application now? What's happening in this application?
Calling the API and fetching the data from the different sources.
Calling the API and fetching the data. What
from
data?
from the external application.
Okay. You mean to say this one? Where is that make my trip? So means this Alliance AirAsia Indigo is an external application.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. See, this make my trip people what they're doing is, if you can see here, see Indigo, AirAsia. See here, AirAsia, Air India. Okay. See, this is also a flight booking service application. Okay, and Indigo, this is also an airline service application. See here, airline service application. See, if I open the Indigo as well, they have a separate their own website. Okay, if I open this Indigo application is opening, and here they also providing a option to book the ticket. Okay, and if you can open the AirAsia, see this is also airline service. Okay, see they also their own official website here. See, this is their own official website. They also provide us the option to book the ticket. So I can go directly in this application and I can also book. But in the make my trip also I can do that. So now the question is, here if I can select, okay, Bangalore to here, where I have to go. Okay, maybe if I select, hmm, okay, if I select that, so here also it will provide us the list of services that has to provide. Okay, so even if I search with whatever the I'm giving here the information. Accordingly, it will check the availability and it will give us the list of, see, this is also providing me the list of data. What are the flights available? Okay, see here it is also providing here information. The same information I can also get it here. Okay, so how I can able to see in their own website also I could able to see that, and also in make my trip also I can able to see that. How can I able to see that? Because this make my trip application, what they are doing is they're calling this application APIs. They're calling this, they're consuming Indigo APIs, Alliance APIs, and AirAsia APIs, and Vistara APIs. They're just consuming their APIs so that those information which is these information available here, the same information is also available in the Make My Trip. Okay, so this is how they are dealing with a business. Okay, so like this, not only in this application guys, if from now onwards you can take any information, any application, it will be we will be making use of a multiple APIs inside the application here. See, one API is like this application, like airline service API we are using here, and also the payment gateway is also we will be using here. Okay, because after selecting some flight, and we need to go for the booking, right? So by the time they will call the that APIs. Okay, so API knowledge is very much important, and everywhere we are using a APIs. Okay, there's none of the application which is which is not using APIs. Okay, all the application will be making use of the APIs. Okay, in real time also we'll be using that, but we are not observed, right? So this is how we'll be using the APIs. Okay, so in real time also, maybe you will start working in organization, right? Maybe your application service will be giving to some other partners. Okay, maybe some partner application. Consider this is Make My Trip is in a partner application, this is in a main application, Air India. So this Air India people are providing their services to the partner application. Okay, so similarly, if you are working in an organization, you will be having your own application. Maybe your services will be providing to the partner applications. So your data has to go to the partners. Okay, so by the time you need to perform the testing there, what all the information you are passing to the partner, how the partner is receiving information, how they are responding back. So all these things happens in the, for example, I work for the insurance based application. Okay, we will give our service to the many of the partners. Okay, so where we will be performing API testing, like how the data is transferring to the partner, what are the information has to transfer, what are the information we have to hide, all those things we do the testing there. Okay, so like this. So understood till now whatever we discussed? Are there any doubt whatever we discussed till now? Understanding?
Is
Make use of a
mostly okay,
mm.
manual test, or we can do automation in Postman also.
Yes, sometimes we say like we can also perform the automation using a Postman, like how we have a JavaScript, right? So through the JavaScript we can write the scripts. Okay, so by using a JavaScript language, we can also achieve a automation using a Postman, like that we say. Okay, but yes, okay, we achieve that, but most compatible way to achieve the automation part using languages only. Okay, but we can do that by using a JavaScript code. We achieve the maximum task whatever we are achieving in the automation.
So mainly Postman is manual testing.
Postman is
For manual only. Mainly, most of the companies use Postman for manual testing.
yes, yeah, yeah. Okay, that depends, guys. That depends how your organization will use the API testing. Okay, means some organization will make use of a Postman only to handle. We can also handle that as well. Okay, depends. That is, here also we can write the scripts by using a JavaScript coding. Okay, all those things we can achieve. That depends how your organization is deciding to work with. Okay, So like we have a course for the Postman alone and also for the rest issue. Okay. So we'll be learning the both actually. Both approach will be learning. Any doubts? You can make use of a chat if you want to ask anything. Hmm. All clear. Okay, Kushal. So in the next session, we'll start executing the APIs. Okay. So today's session, how it is, how it was. Are you able to understand? Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes. Okay. Hmm. Do we require framework for API testing? Yes, if you are handling a like a API project with a complete API, testing means you require a framework to handle it. The coding is available. Yes, yeah. See, if you are taking any other course in the DurgaSoft, whatever they follow, right, and the same they follow for this as well. Recording they will provide. Each and every session is recorded, and they will just share it via Drive to you all. Okay, and these demo session and workshop sessions will be available in the YouTube. Okay.
Are we doing during the course, ma'am?
uh, Come again, Lakshmi. Are we doing?
Any project, real-time project?
Yes, yeah. We'll be performing like real-time project in the sense, we'll be taking the services and we'll be covering all the scenarios which is required for the real time. Okay. Because we can make use of a real-time application, like we have a for this one GitHub application, we have a Jira APIs, those also real-time applications, and we have Postman. Okay, we can take APIs of those application, will perform the scenarios, like basically the most of the scenarios which is required to handle the real time scenarios with real time work, will be performing all those tasks.
Are we getting that projects to put in the resume, our resume?
uh, no yeah, like resume and all, it means you want to you want to tell, you have worked in the API testing and you have to enter the give an interview. Is that the way you are going?
Yes, ma'am.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, that is, I will tell you like how you can cover that with respect to the project. By having the knowledge of the API testing, how we can handle that with respect to the project in the interview, I will guide you about that. Okay. So how many of you working here in automation, means UI automation? Just raise up your hands. How many of you working in UI automation? No one. Working in manual? Mhm. Okay, 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 okay. I'm in full security field. Want to learn how things happen. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Okay. Vishal Pandey. Okay. Vishal Pandey, you are already enrolled. right? You already enrolled for the previous batch, right? I don't know, the same Vishal Pandey as some other. Okay.
Yeah, same madam. Basically, today the seminar. That's why I joined.
Okay, okay, Vishal, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't miss to any session. Sorry, that's why I joined.
Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. Fine, fine.
Yeah, no other reason.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Thank you.
See, got you.
Yeah, thank you for remember my name.
Okay. Okay. Hmm. Okay, guys. Okay, so we just today we discussed about the basics. Okay, like still still more things are there to discuss about the basic part. Okay, like if we take one API, what are the parameters it contains? What is protocol? What is domain name? What is endpoint? How how we can identify those things, how we can handle those things, all many more informations are there. Okay, we'll discuss that later. Okay, the batch is not yet decided. Okay, so the batch timing and the batch is not yet decided. We'll catch up in the next weekend, and we'll think of it when we can start, at what time we can start this batch. Okay, let's join the with same link maybe in the next weekend, preferably in the evening. Yes, in the evening what happens, as I'm working for the US shift, sometime I do in the office. Okay, and sometime I will be in the meetings. That is my working hour, that is the issue. But we'll see. Mhm. Yeah, usually my sessions will be early morning only. Okay, like now I'm running the 7 to 8 session, so we'll see. Okay, at what time is preferable for you guys and for us. We'll think of it and we'll fix the on timing. Okay, so don't miss the mm, 7 to 8 is already running. We'll look into some other time. Okay, and don't miss the next weekend session. Okay, next Sunday. Okay, so the continuation for today will be the next Sunday. Okay, don't miss, join with the same link. Okay, we'll discuss more about the API testing. We'll try to execute some APIs. Okay, we'll try to execute some APIs and we'll see how the things works in the back end, and what is how the back end logic works. All those things we'll discuss. Okay. Yes, Lakshmi. Yeah, all these things will be shared. Okay, next Sunday we will discuss about all these things. Still, not yet decided the course timing and course date. Nothing we have discussed. Okay, we just I'm just giving. I am just connected to give the free demonstration, free just workshop session for you guys. Okay, it's like just I'm connecting with you guys to interact with the topic. Okay, in the next session, we will decide it and we'll come up with a date, time, everything, and we'll discuss later. Okay, and I will also share the content that is going to be covered in the course. Okay. Okay, chalo, happy weekend, have a great day, bye bye. Connect next Saturday.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry, next Sunday. Yeah, thank you, bye.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.